The backstage corridors of America's Got Talent buzz with the usual chaos. Crew members rushing past with headsets, stagehands carrying cables, lights flashing as contestants rehearse last-minute vocal warm-ups. But in the middle of all this movement, standing perfectly still near the large metal stage entrance door, is a young Filipino man named Arvin Reyes. He's dressed in a modern black leather jacket, crisp white shirt, slim-cut trousers, and polished shoes, a quiet nod to the timeless style of Elvis Presley. But nothing about him feels like an impersonator. He stands with the calm presence of someone who knows exactly why he's here. He clasps his hands together tightly, breathing in and out, not from fear, but from focus. Arvin grew up singing on jeepneys, street corners, and tiny community events back home in the Philippines. Those stages were humble, but they were his training ground. Every person he sang for helped shape his voice into something special, something powerful. And now, he was about to step into the biggest spotlight of his life. One of the producers approaches him with a clipboard. "Arvin, you're up next." He nods, but his eyes don't show anxiety. Instead, there's a steady fire, a quiet determination. Behind him, other contestants whisper, "That's the guy who sounds like Elvis. He sang in rehearsals. He's unbelievable. He's gonna shock the judges." Arvin hears every word, but he doesn't react. He's learned to stay humble through years of performing for strangers who sometimes listened and sometimes didn't. But tonight, millions would be listening. A backstage camera operator positions himself. "Can we get a quick intro interview?" he asks, pointing the lens toward Arvin. Arvin straightens up and smiles politely. The camera light turns red. "So, who do we have here?" The interviewer asks. "My name is Arvin Reyes," he says with a soft Filipino accent. "I'm from Quezon City, Philippines." "Why AGT?" The interviewer continues. Arvin thinks for a moment. "Because where I come from, dreams don't always get a chance to grow. Many people are talented, but not everyone gets seen. I want to show that someone like me, someone from a small neighborhood in Manila, can stand here on the world stage." It's a simple answer, but his sincerity strikes a chord. The camera operator lowers the lens slightly, smiling. "Good luck out there, Arvin. They're gonna love you." A stage door swings open, blasting him with bright light. The host greets him with excitement. "This is it, my friend. Are you ready?" "I am," Arvin replies, though his voice remains gentle. He takes one last deep breath. Then he steps forward. A sudden hush falls over the AGT theater as he emerges from the darkness. At first, only his silhouette is visible. Broad shoulders, clean posture, an unmistakable vintage aura. The audience tilts their heads, murmuring. Simon Cowell squints, leaning toward his microphone. He's intrigued. He's seen thousands of performers, but this entrance feels cinematic. Sofia Vergara tilts her head. "Ooh, he looks interesting." Heidi Klum smiles warmly, sensing the energy of the crowd shifting. Howie Mandel folds his arms with curiosity. "Let's see what this guy's got." The stage lights rise slowly, revealing Arvin in full. A ripple goes through the audience. He doesn't look like a copy of Elvis. He looks like someone honoring an era while bringing something entirely new. His posture radiates confidence, but his eyes reveal softness. He's not here to imitate. He's here to express. "Hello," Simon says, adjusting his papers. "Tell us your name." "My name is Arvin," he answers, his voice steady but warm. "And where are you from?" Simon continues. "I'm from the Philippines," Arvin says proudly. The audience claps loudly, and Arvin flashes a shy smile. "What will you be doing for us today?" Heidi asks. Arvin shifts slightly, holding the microphone with both hands. "I'll be singing a classic that Elvis Presley performed, but I'll be doing it in my own style." Sophia's eyebrows lift. "Elvis, wow!" Simon leans forward. He has seen countless Elvis impersonators, some good, some forgettable. But Arvin's tone isn't bragging. It's confident, yet humble. That combination is rare. "Well," Simon says, adjusting his seat, "I'm curious now. Good luck." Arvin nods and takes his position at the center of the stage. The room becomes quiet, the kind of silence that signals anticipation. The lights shift into soft golds and deep blues, casting long shadows across the stage. The band prepares, but they keep the intro gentle, leaving space for Arvin's voice to lead. A slow zoom from the camera captures Arvin closing his eyes as the first notes of the song begin. He inhales deeply, centering himself. In this moment, he's not thinking about the millions watching. He's thinking about the nights he sang barefoot in the streets of Manila, hoping somebody would stop and listen. The audience watches him intently. No one knows what's about to happen. Not the judges, not the crowd, not even the hosts backstage. But something in the air feels electric, like the atmosphere right before a lightning strike. Arvin opens his eyes, and with the slight tilt of his head and a calm breath, he lifts the microphone toward his lips. And the moment is set. Something extraordinary is about to unfold. A soft guitar hum fills the studio. Warm, slow, almost fragile. It hangs in the air like a single thread that could snap at any moment. The audience leans in. Even the judges seem unusually still. They're waiting, watching, wondering if this Filipino singer will live up to the aura he walked in with. Arvin stands motionless, eyes closed. He isn't posing. He isn't trying to create drama. He's simply breathing, connecting himself to the moment. He lets the first 8 beats pass without singing, letting the tension settle into the room like morning mist. The judges shift in their seats, expecting him to begin. Then, with a calm inhale, Arvin lifts his chin and releases the first note. It is soft yet powerful, a velvet, smoky tone that echoes gently through the vast AGT theater. The clarity of it catches everyone off guard. The note is so clean and pure that it seems impossible to come from a live microphone. It feels almost like a recording from a different era. A sound transported from the golden age of music. And the room freezes. Simon's eyebrows immediately jump. He sits upright, eyes suddenly wide. Heidi's jaw slackens as she stares forward, trying to figure out if she's imagining what she's hearing. Sophia lets out a surprised, "Oh my God," without realizing she said it out loud. Howie leans forward, eyes almost squinting as he tries to analyze the tone. That's crazy," he whispers. The audience begins murmuring, soft at first, then louder as people catch on. "Whoa, is that real? He sounds like, oh my God." But Arvin hears none of it. He is somewhere else entirely, lost inside the world of the song. His voice flows effortlessly, riding the melody like a wave. Where most singers would rush the first verse, he paces himself, choosing each note carefully. His tone has weight, emotion, restraint, all at once. And though it's reminiscent of Elvis, it isn't mimicry. There's a Filipino softness in his phrasing, a tenderness in how he stretches vowels, a warm vibrato that comes in at the perfect moments. It's Elvis meets Manila, classical meets heartfelt street serenade. He opens his eyes for the first time as he enters the next line of the verse. His gaze isn't bold or intimidating, it's deeply vulnerable, and suddenly the audience feels the truth. This isn't an impersonation, this is a soul singing. When he moves into the second phrase, he adds a slightly deeper resonance in his chest voice. The sound expands through the theater like a wave rolling off the ocean. Several audience members gasp. A few even clasp their hands over their mouths. Simon, who rarely reacts this early, shakes his head, smiling. But it's a different kind of smile. Not amusement, not disbelief, it's admiration. Halfway through the verse, Arvin takes a small yet intentional step toward the audience. It looks natural, but it changes everything. His presence grows. His confidence blossoms. The golden lights above him shift subtly, creating a halo-like glow around his silhouette. He lifts one hand, echoing one of Elvis's classic gestures, but softer, more graceful. A respectful tribute, not a copy. The audience cheers mid-song, unable to help themselves. His voice then dives into the lower notes, husky and controlled. Then, seamlessly, he rises into the higher register with a purity that surprises everyone. His power isn't forced. It's effortless, like his voice has been shaped by years of singing from the heart rather than from technique alone. The camera zooms in on the judges. Sophia is holding her chest, eyes wide, in complete emotional shock. Heidi is smiling so hard that her eyes shine. Howie shakes his head repeatedly, mouthing, "Wow, wow." Simon is not smiling anymore. He is studying Arvin with the focus of someone witnessing a rare talent. As the music builds toward the chorus, Arvin does something unexpected. He drops his voice to a whisper, not literally a whisper, but a soft, breathy, intimate tone that pulls the entire room forward. People stop breathing, leaning closer without realizing it. Then, right as he lifts into the chorus, He unleashes a sustained, powerful note that rises rather than simply holds. It climbs like a prayer, like a cry, like something pulled straight from his memories of singing under Manila streetlights. The moment he hits the peak, the entire crowd erupts. People jump to their feet. Some clap wildly. A few scream, some cry. Dozens hold their phones up, trying to capture what feels like a once-in-a-lifetime performance. The judges stand in perfect unison, a rare occurrence. Simon stays seated a moment longer, savoring the sound, then leans back in awe. He laughs in disbelief, shaking his head like he can't believe what he's hearing. "He's insane," he mutters. "He's absolutely insane." Arvin rides the wave of applause without losing control of his vocals. His eyes glisten, not from nerves, but from gratitude. His voice carries 1,000 stories, of family karaoke nights, of singing competitions in barangays, of struggling, of dreaming, of hoping one day someone would hear him. The final part of the chorus arrives, and he delivers a breathtaking, stretched-out note that seems to pierce straight into the soul of every person listening. The audience explodes again, and this time, even the crew backstage is listening, heads poking out from behind curtains. By the time he transitions into the bridge, the entire AGT studio is no longer waiting to be impressed. They are witnessing magic, a once-in-a-season moment, a performance destined to go viral, a singer who came not to imitate Elvis, but to show the world the sound of a Filipino heart wrapped in timeless music. The chorus ends. Arvin lowers the mic slightly, and the world is changed. The final chorus swells like a rising tide, and Arvin steps forward, no longer the quiet, mysterious singer who walked onto the stage minutes ago. Now he is a storm of emotion, conviction, and raw musical power. His voice echoes through the theater with a depth that vibrates through the walls and sinks straight into the hearts of everyone listening. Golden lights cascade from above, illuminating his silhouette. Each note he delivers is a confession, each lyric a piece of his soul laid bare before the world. This is not just a performance anymore. It is a moment, the kind that becomes a memory, a video replayed millions of times, a story told again and again. As he reaches the last line, the energy in the room feels almost electric. Every person is leaning forward, hanging on to his final breath. And when Arvin finally releases his closing note, it rings out long, warm, and heartbreakingly beautiful, like the last echo of a love song played across an empty sunset beach. Then, silence, not the silence of indifference, the silence of shock. That beautiful moment where no one dares to move or breathe for fear of breaking the magic. Arvin lowers the microphone slowly. His chest rises as he gathers his breath, his eyes flooding with emotion. He can't believe what he just unleashed. Neither can anyone else. Then, like a sudden spark hitting a line of fireworks, the entire AGT theater erupts. The crowd explodes into cheers so loud that the cameras shake. People leap out of their seats. Many have tears in their eyes. Some scream his name. Others simply stand still, hands covering their mouths, overwhelmed by what they just witnessed. A full standing ovation sweeps across the room. Howie is clapping above his head, shouting, "Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable." Heidi has both hands pressed over her mouth. She looks emotional, awestruck, like she can't figure out how a human voice can sound like that. Sophia is shouting something in Spanish, overwhelmed with excitement, and Simon Cowell, the man known for being impossible to impress, is smiling. Not just a polite smile, a genuine, full, proud smile, the kind he reserves only for the truly extraordinary. He leans into his microphone and says, "That was spectacular." But before he can continue, Sophia interrupts, and everyone immediately feels the tension shift. She turns toward the golden buzzer, eyes wide, emotional, almost trembling. And the crowd senses it. The energy spikes. People start screaming again, anticipating what might happen. Arvin's breath catches. His eyes follow Sophia's movement. Sophia looks at Simon, at Heidi, at Howie, then back at Arvin. "You know what?" she says, her voice shaking with pure excitement. "I cannot wait another second." The audience loses it. Screams, gasps, cheers. Everyone knows what's coming. Arvin covers his mouth, already in tears. And then, boom! Sophia slams her hands onto the golden buzzer with all her strength. For a moment, time seems to freeze. Then, A dazzling explosion of gold confetti bursts from the rafters, cascading down like a shimmering storm. The entire stage transforms into a glowing sea of gold flakes dancing through the air. Music blasts through the speakers, that triumphant AGT anthem that signals a dream being born. The audience screams even louder. Arvin collapses to his knees, overwhelmed. Tears stream down his face as he watches the golden confetti rain around him like a miracle. His hands cover his face. His shoulders shake with emotion. He can't believe what's happening. Not after ever. Anything he's been through. All the small stages, all the struggles, all the dreams that felt too far away. Sophia rushes to the stage, gliding through the falling confetti with the biggest, proudest smile. She kneels down beside him and hugs him tightly. "You deserve this," she shouts over the music. "You deserve this so much." Arvin sobs into her shoulder. Tears of relief, joy, disbelief. Howie walks up next, applauding with infectious enthusiasm. "This is what AGT is all about," he yells. "Talent like yours." Heidi embraces Arvin with a warm, emotional smile. "You have a gift," she whispers into his ear. Finally, Simon steps forward slowly. The crowd watches him, curious about what he'll say. He stands in front of Arvin, who is still kneeling, confetti falling around him like a golden waterfall. Simon puts a hand on Arvin's shoulder. "You didn't just shock us," he says, his voice soft but powerful. "You reminded all of us why we love music. That was one of the best auditions I've ever seen on this stage." Arvin looks up, tears still streaming, unable to speak. Every camera in the room captures this moment. The Filipino Elvis who stunned America, bathed in gold, with judges surrounding him like proud family. The hosts run onto the stage next, joining the celebration. They help Arvin stand, though his legs are shaking so much he nearly falls again. Confetti continues falling, swirling around his hair, sticking to his jacket, sparkling against the stage lights. He reaches out a hand to feel it, as if trying to confirm that it's real. The music swells again. The audience chants his name, "Arvin, Arvin, Arvin." He looks out at them, at the world, at the future that suddenly feels possible. His voice breaks as he whispers, "Thank you. Thank you so much." The final shot fades out on Arvin standing center stage, arms open wide, golden confetti raining down, eyes shining with tears, smile trembling with gratitude. A moment that will live forever. The Filipino Elvis, who shocked AGT and earned the golden buzzer of a lifetime.